Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week we're talking with TRU Colors Brewing. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me as always is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So joining us, we have Spree, the Assistant Director of Marketing, and Kevin, a brewer at TRU Colors. We're going to talk about their unique mission, how they are working towards ending violence on the street, and, of course, their beer. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks. Absolutely. It's a great mission.
Yes.
Absolutely. Beer brings everybody together.
Yeah, we're going to dig really into it.
It is. You know, we face some, our show, when it's broadcast on the radio, is typically on conservative talk radio stations. Okay. And a lot of craft beer drinkers are not conservative politically, but we always say beer is either nonpartisan or bipartisan. You know, you don't have to have a political party to enjoy a beer. Everybody can come together. Whether you're celebrating, whether you're mourning, have a beer.
Both or neither. Yeah. Celebrating
right.
or mourning. It's both or neither.
It is. Absolutely. Now, guys, you are enjoying right now your beer, and we're going to just start off with that. TRU Light, TRU Colors Brewing. Right now, the one beer that you do. Tell us about that beer and why you decided to start with that.
Well, TRU Light's a light lager, so it's the most, I think, easy beer to rally around. It's approachable to people who aren't big beer drinkers, and it's a nice, easy drinking beer that a seasoned craft beer drinker still goes after every now and then.
Crushable,
right?
Real
crushable. That's it, man. That's we've said before. We call them drinking beers. It's it's not this 14% stout, which we love.
Oh yeah,
the big stouts.
Yeah,
but sometimes you want to sit down and you want to have a bite to eat with friends. You don't want to overthink the beer, and as craft beer nerds, we can do that. You're looking for the different notes that are in here, but just having a good light lager, good drinking beer where you don't have to think about it, you can focus on the conversation or whatever else is going on. I think that's becoming more and more popular there.
It's a beer that can really just bring people together.
Right. Absolutely.
It's unoffensive. It's tastes good. It's refreshing, and it's not going to irritate anybody with hops or, a lot of alcohol. So something to be said for that,
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Spree, before you got involved with TRU Colors, and we'll step into that story here in a minute, but were you a beer guy before you got involved with the brewery?
Honestly, I can't say I was. I never.
Okay.
I remember Budweiser commercials and stuff like that.
Right.
But I can tell you that I was real big on beer.
How do you like TRU Light? Be honest with us, man. How is TRU Light?
Honestly, I've been here a while, so my appreciation for beer culture has gave me a different outlook.
Okay.
The hard work, the science, the culture. So I appreciate it way more than I used to. And yes, the only beer I do drink is TRU Light. So.
Okay. There you go.
Have you tried a pastry stout, one of those giant stouts that maple syrup and about 14% or something like that?
I tried a bunch of beers, doing a lot of focus labs coming up, but honestly, I still got a lot of trying like IPAs and stouts and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We haven't done it in a long time, but we homebrewed a good bit. And one of our friends in the neighborhood used to come over, and he loved trying all the crazy beers that we had, the sour beers, the big hoppy IPAs, the stouts. But every time he came over, he came toting a 12-pack of Bud Light. And he said, guys, he's like, I love trying all these beers. I really do. But I really just enjoy kicking back and having my Bud Light. We're like, rock on then, man. Enjoy it.
That guy reminds me so much of the people that when I was smoking more cigars and hanging around with people that smoke cigars, guys were smoking cigars and would take a break from it to smoke a cigarette. That guy kind of reminds me of that.
Exactly.
They just really love that one thing. So you know what? It's good for them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, how about you? Are you a beer guy, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely a beer guy.
Okay. All right. So what outside of your beer, what are some things you enjoy?
Well, I kind of, I've been in the business for a while, so I'm a little IPA'd out. But I like good German lagers and
sure.
Belgian beers, and European continental styles these days. I've kind of regressed in a way, my tastes from big barrel aged stouts and heavy hops and IPAs, maple brown ales and things like that to just regular beer. I think it comes with
just beer, man.
Being a dad and getting old.
It's great timing. That's where the market's heading. You couldn't have picked a better time to come out with a light lager, basically, than now, really, or like 30 years ago. Either now or 30 years ago. So you picked the right time.
Yeah, either 1992 or 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the two.
One of those two, and you picked the right one.
Great years.
Exactly. Good years. Good years. Now you guys are in Wilmington, North Carolina. Is that right?
Right.
So we know the Raleigh beer scene. We know, of course, Asheville has a very big beer scene there. How's the general beer scene in the Wilmington area?
Ooh, it's pretty.
It's actually
good.
Getting quite well developed. We have some really good breweries here. They've all been really supportive of us and our mission. A lot of them help each other out. I actually came from a local brewery here to come work over here, where I was actually a head brewer, and just really liked the mission here and liked the people, and really enjoyed coming over, making the switch over here.
Very cool.
About how many breweries do you have in that area right now?
I think in Wilmington proper is about 14 or 15, with a couple on planning and probably 5 to 6 on the outskirts.
Okay,
some good options there.
Yeah. I mean, you get up around those numbers, somebody's you'll find something you like,
and they're all solid beers, and they're all solid people.
Yeah. Good stuff. Awesome.
Well, Tim, I think it's time for us to get into the beers of the week.
Brian, as always, great list of beers to get into here.
What?
So we've got, a beer that was recently sent to us. We want to thank the brewery for sending out Rupee Premium Lager beer. Now, Brian, catch this, because this hits something we're into. This beer was formulated to drink while eating spicy foods, especially like a spicy Indian curry.
Oh, I'm down with that.
Yeah, so we don't have any curry yet, but we're going to sample this one, see how that beer is, and we'll pair it up with some curry later. And then this, Kevin, speaking of these other drinking beers here from one of our local crafts, Good Word Brewing, that we love, we have Divine Intervention, which is a rice lager. So we're going to get into that, enjoy that some. From Boulevard, Brian, you just happened to find we were talking about this beer recently.
Last week, yeah.
And it had been discontinued for a while, correct?
That's right.
But Boulevard's Chocolate Ale
is back.
You found a bottle of that, so we're going to get into that. And we have from Equilibrium, Experiment and Enlightenment. Man, there's intervention. There's Divine Intervention.
That's
and
right.
Enlightenment. But that's a double IPA. So we're going to get into that and see what that's about.
Semi-intentional theming here, but not really.
Yeah, sort of. You just wanted to drink the beers.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. Pretty much.
Good stuff. Well, that's what we'll get into. And we want to thank our friends at The Nest for sponsoring the segment. As we always talk about, we were just talking with Spree just before we got on the air here about the wings.
Yes.
So we always preach that. Gorgeous patio, and the weather is getting that way. Actually kind of warm in my house today, Brian.
Yeah.
Got up in the 70s, got a little sweaty in my office there, but they've got a gorgeous patio. They're doing brunch on Sundays now, and they've got an overloaded Bloody Mary that you can enjoy out on the patio. And you know what? Bring your dog along. But he'd probably enjoy the patio.
They might be able to throw something in a dog bowl for him. I don't know.
Well, maybe they'll work it out. Sure enough. Well, Brian, what's happening this week in the news?
All right. So good news for anybody looking to change their hairstyle. Natural Light is offering to cover the cost of your next haircut, just as long as that haircut is a mullet. And they'll give you free beer every month. You keep that haircut through the end of the year. To enter, all you have to do is get the haircut, post a photo of it to social media, and use the hashtags Natty Vintage and Sweepstakes. And you have to do it before March 31st. So if you're party in the back and business up front, you're good to go, possibly for beer throughout the year. So.
Isn't our buddy Nate Schieber from Cherry Street, isn't he rocking the mullet now? We need to let him know so we can get him some Natty Light.
Yeah. Are either of you guys thinking about getting a mullet, get a little free beer?
The pass.
I've got nothing but the monk going on under here.
Okay. No.
I got the wave spinning, man. I can't.
It's not gonna happen, huh?
All right. I just thought I'd check.
I'm kind of thinking the monk mullet though might be a next level kind of thing though.
I was gonna say you could get hair plugs. It'd be really expensive for free Natty Light, but whatever.
Get hair plugs just to get
Sure,
a
years
mullet.
worth of Natty Light's about the same price.
Exactly. Right.
So, according to AmericanCraftBeer.com, a brewery in Canada is opening the world's largest beer spa. The Muskoka Beer Spa will open in April, and it will include woodland cabins complete with beer taps and Wi-Fi, 4 saunas, a relaxation pool, a forest beach, outdoor cabanas, and 3 restaurants on the property. But probably the most interesting thing is the idea of soaking in beer while you drink fresh beer from the connected Clear Lake Brewing Company
That
taps.
sounds absolutely great,
Yes.
Brian. We'd love to hear more about it, but we'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. What? And we're going to have to... Let me do that again because that won't work because we didn't. All right. Brian, that sounds fascinating. We'd love to hear more, but we're going to need to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be back with TRU Colors right after this. There we go. Slight technical difficulty.
Yes. It's a good thing we're not live, right?
When he says wrap it up and you don't, it makes my job really hard.
I didn't. I missed the wrap it up thing. Sorry, I would have. Was it before I got in the story or after?
It was like right at it. He gave you the wrap it up like right as you started it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll deal with this later.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just cut it.
We got it.
It's a beer
Good
spa.
stuff. Seth, thanks for popping in, man. We appreciate it.
The skullet.
There you go.
For
Kevin,
yeah.
I think he's giving you a name for your hairstyle there, man. He's there for you.
And so it's monk in the front and party in the back, basically.
Monk in the front, party in the back.
Roll the back out in 30 days here. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough.
See, yeah,
hair extensions.
For it.
They're never going to be able to tell.
Right. As long as you're rocking the style, they'll be good to go there. So awesome. Guys, we're getting ready to dive into the deep of it. I'm really excited to get into this part, learn more about the brewery, the mission, and such. That's Megan was nice enough. She shared like your little mini documentary with us. So I got to look over that and kind of see the story there in the background. So it's good stuff.
Good material. Yeah.
I was also, Megan invited us to come up there. We couldn't make it, but I was tempted to make it work just because I wanted to come to your studio because I've heard it's pretty awesome there. So
pretty dope spot, man.
Yeah.
You definitely come through.
Yeah. Spree, I don't want to waste the content.
Yeah.
You're a singer though, right? You sing, correct?
I do entertainer.
Entertainer. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Good deal.
So we could get into it, but I thought I heard that they did a fair amount before the brewery got really going. A lot of multimedia stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a full multimedia studio? Is it like recording video, all of that? That's awesome. That's very cool.
Oh, cool.
I want that. I want one of those.
Yeah.
One day.
Makes this place seem so lame.
No, it's still pretty good. We got 2. Do you have 2 beer fridges? Well, they're at a brewery. They probably do.
They've got a big walk-in cooler
yes,
full of
we
stuff.
do have beer at our studio. We
do.
Let's see. Good stuff.
Probably have beer taps in the studio too.
That's one thing we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
We haven't got there yet.
They'll run a line out to the brewery here.
Crazy. Cool. All right. Yeah, I haven't got into this one yet, but if Brian's ready for another one, we'll just hang with what we've got.
Yeah, we can hang.
We'll get there. So, all right, guys, we're going to go back into it here.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand. So if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on the Podcast Park and all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to TRU Colors.
TRU Colors Brewing. Spree, we kind of started off just chatting about beer and stuff in general, but we want to lay the foundation here. TRU Colors Brewing, big mission there. How did TRU Colors get started?
Well, a couple of years back, let's say about 6 years, maybe and a half, a teenager was shot on the south side of Wilmington, and when this hit the news, it kind of hit it got to George Taylor, which is the founder of TRU Colors, but then he was just the CEO of Untapped, which is like a beer like database like platform that's pretty known around the U.S. It's a pretty big company. But he was a serial entrepreneur at this point, and he had heard of the shooting, but he was unaware of gangs. So when he first heard of this shooting, he was like, well, how is this possible that shootings are going down in his city in broad daylight and someone was murdered? So being that he was a serial entrepreneur, his mind started to race on, how can I learn more about this and how can we figure out how to stop it? So that led him on a series of trips with the district attorney here in Wilmington. And he met with a couple of guys that was known as well-known gang members here in order to talk to them more about what, proactive things we could do to stop it. And kind of long story short, guys, he developed a relationship with a couple of guys who are the founders that worked with him. And he learned the kind of what really was the root cause of a lot of the problems going on. So he came up with a solution, which was TRU Colors. And it was kind of a no-brainer being that he works with a beer database and beer creates so many jobs for guys. So it kind of fell into it that way.
Okay. An unfortunate story, but good that someone took action, based on that. Because, a lot of people say, oh, what can I do? I wish I could make a difference or something, but it sounds like he said, I'm going to.
He put his money where his mouth is, basically. That's the phrase. Yeah,
exactly.
So, what did he determine was the underlying causes of, or are there too many to even get into?
No, we got it down to two main things: lack of economic opportunity and societal exclusion. So, with the lack of opportunity and jobs, you get violence. So that's pretty much what we all knew it was and came to understand.
Now, when you say societal exclusion, can you expand a little bit on what that means?
Just for example, going in any community, you can immediately point out the hoods.
Okay.
So if you go in any community and point out the hood and the good and the bad section, as they would call it.
Right.
That's what we would call societal exclusion, being put in areas and being deprived of certain, things.
Right. Because people see the hood, you automatically have an image in your head of what that area is about. And so if you have a preconceived notion there, and then you add the lack of economic opportunity, it doesn't make for a great environment.
Right.
And I assume it's a lack of feeling welcome in other areas. You weren't really much of a beer drinker prior to this, but going based upon what other people have said, did they feel welcome in breweries in Wilmington, or was that kind of like a no-go type of situation? You just didn't go there.
Honestly, it was we just didn't go.
Okay.
Gotcha.
In the community, just to do.
Gotcha. Okay. And you mentioned Untapped. Brian's addicted to that thing.
Yeah, kind of.
He's helping to keep that thing going because he's got to check the beer in. He's got to check the beer in there.
I forget how many thousands of check-ins I've got. Is it 6,000?
Big thing there, right?
10 or something like that. Yeah. I've got all the fun badges and whatnot.
Exactly.
And I thought it was interesting. I didn't realize that was involved in Untapped. I'm like, oh, that's pretpretty cool.
Right.
But
absolutely.
Also, I can see where he's getting some of the funds to get a project like this going, because
Untapped did very well. When I remember when Untapped launched, and it was neat. We thought, oh, this is kind of cool, but there's a lot of little apps that are cool that just never go anywhere. To see what Untapped did, to where it really took off across the country. And I think I saw the UK is a big Untapped user now, like even more so in some cases than some US users. But
definitely,
that's cool. But Spree, how did you get involved with TRU Colors Brewing?
Well, honestly, I was in federal prison when I first heard about TRU Colors, and to be honest, I you can't make stuff up like this out of a movie script, in a book. And I heard about it's like, there's no way a brewery hiring gang members to do something about it, because a leader before TRU Colors, we always wanted a way to help, but you never really have a way to help. So this, I learned about it from some of the founders before I came home. And I worked with a couple temp agencies before the first apprentice class was formed. And they brought me right in shortly after like a year and being home out of federal prison. And they felt like I would be a great candidate because of my leadership. And they told me about it, and I joined the mission.
Awesome. And I don't know if we've said this directly yet, though, as we talked about the foundation, but TRU Colors hires gang members. Like 80% of the staff at TRU Colors is active gang members. Is that correct?
Right.
And that, I want to dive into something because it kind of crossed my two paths here. You talked about, being in prison and coming out and seeing opportunities here. When I'm not drinking beer and talking on the radio, I'm a recruiter. And that's been my day job for like 20 years. And just last week, I had a gentleman who had excellent experience, military veteran, military training. And in 2018, he had some trouble. And he had a felony conviction. I can't place him with a lot of my companies because of one thing this man did in 40 years. That he has one criminal charge on there, and it's keeping him from getting a good job.
Seriously.
How much does that play in to the challenges there? When you come out, you mentioned you were in federal prison. When you come out, what are the job opportunities to you there?
Honestly, man, it's tough because, they look at the tattoos and, of course, they run your background and you get told, oh, well, we're not looking for someone, or we'll give you a call back. So you end up going to temp agency after temp agency, hoping to get an opportunity. And it's tough, man. It just takes for you to be understanding of what they're already looking, I guess, the stereotype, because that's what I was
right.
on. I knew they looked at me this way. So I tried to stay positive and just keep filling out applications and just stay proactive. But it's tough, man. It's definitely tough.
Gotcha. Do you mind sharing personally what TRU Colors has done for you as an individual, being there, and the changes that you've seen from that?
Oh, yes. It's done, honestly, from day one to having what we call beyond the block experiences, which is as part of our onboarding process. It's just getting guys, what I experienced coming in, which is guys I would never usually be around, which is opposing gangs, just going out and doing things like paintball and paddleboarding and all types of stuff we done together, and then learn more about myself through like opening myself up for therapy and teaching me about credit, establishing relationships with banks, whether that's getting a house or budgeting or just financial literacy, period. And just offering me help for mental and emotional things that I might have been through prison and coming up in the streets. They offer, I can't say nothing but good things about what I've been given the opportunity to change, and it's just been an amazing experience, to be honest with you.
And I think
That's
I
incredible.
saw, Spree, with TRU Colors, this isn't just a job at a brewery. I saw I think you have a gym on site, correct? There's fitness classes, nutrition classes. If I saw correctly, I think there's meals, like discounted meals available.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've already talked, you've got a really cool studio there. So
Yeah.
they are doing more beyond just, here's a job for you, we'll give you a job. There's more to it than that.
Yes, way more to it than that. And the social mission is just as important as selling beer. They both coexist in the same space. And we try to do a lot to kind of hit on the issues that guys have coming off the streets, because it's not a typical hiring process. And we care about the guys a lot. So it takes for you to help them strip themselves of the limiting beliefs they have. Because even if you give guys an opportunity, if they don't feel they deserve the opportunity, they'll squander it. So a lot of the processes we have in place was to take away those limiting beliefs and make them believe in themselves that they can even accomplish what we're doing.
That's awesome.
That
Good
is
stuff.
great.
We need to take a break, but we've got a lot more to talk about. We'll be back very soon with more from TRU Colors Brewing. Spree, did I catch that right? That you said you're going out and doing paintball and such with rival gang members?
Yeah, man, guys that we would never have, honestly.
Right?
I'm a big homie in my community, and I never would have thought to be sitting at the table with some of these dudes.
How about that, man?
Because, one of my right-hand men, said, bro, this is an opportunity for us to change things. And I ran with it, and it's been a surreal experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there some, and maybe I should save this for the show, but
that's it. There's a lot I want to talk about, but I don't want it. I don't want it to not be in the show.
I was gonna say maybe I'll hold off on it because it's all too good. I mean, obviously this is going streaming on Facebook.
Sure.
Like, we don't want to deprive Facebook and all
right,
the
but
streaming.
we do have a bigger audience with radio and podcasts, so we want to make sure
we got to get all those people involved in this too.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm finally getting started on the Seg 1 beer here.
Yeah. It's like you know what? I think I'm ready to move on to Seg 2 now that we're on Seg 3.
Are you ready there?
I think
you
so.
Ready now?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Next beer.
Yeah, all right. What are we doing next? Is the rupee one cold enough, or should I move on? Yeah.
In there, it's kind of cold. It's colder than room temperature.
All right. What do you think? Should I go?
Probably need to hold.
Yeah. Should I go chocolate ale or should I go the Dippa?
Just go something else. The chocolate ale, I think, is a end of the night beer.
Okay. All right. I guess I could do the Dippa.
Yeah.
I was a little worried the Dippa might be a little too intense, but maybe not.
Yeah, but
Kevin, when we come back, we're going to bug you about how you got involved there with TRU Colors.
I was going to sneak that in, but Tim was on a roll, so I'm like,
I was going, man.
All right.
Spree and I are just sitting there chatting.
Yeah, exactly. That was good. So, I'm like, I'm not going to interrupt this flow.
Good stuff. All right, Nate, I think we're ready, man. Want to bring us back in, sir?
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, KFAR 660 AM and 97.5 FM in Fairbanks, Alaska. Catch Beer Guys Radio on KFAR every Saturday at 12 a.m. Now let's get back to TRU Colors.
TRU Colors Brewing. Kevin, we just left you out of it last segment. Spree and I were there talking. It just got rolling, but we want to know, how'd you find out about TRU Colors Brewing, and how did you get involved with the brewery?
I actually reached out to them when I heard about them like 3 years ago. They were just a thought project at that time, essentially. I just reached out to them on social media, I think Facebook, and said, hey, I think this is a real cool project. If there's anything I can do to use my white privilege to help you guys out in some kind of a way, let me know. And then they all came in for a tour. I remember it was incredible. Actually, it was like, here's like, gangsters rolling in 20 deep into my suburban brewery.
Okay. Yeah.
I've heard that lyric before, I think.
That's it. Yeah, that's in a song, right? Yeah.
No, it was incredible. But what impressed me the most was their enthusiasm for what they were going to do. It was infectious. So I couldn't help but not be involved. And I even developed an internship program with one of their guys that wanted to know more about production, press. And he worked with me for a little while. We trained him from washing kegs to cleaning tanks to dumping yeast and harvesting yeast and cellaring and that kind of stuff. And eventually he got too involved with here. So and then he actually told me they were hiring.
All right, there you go. Right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now
make the change
with TRU Colors. I did see that. I believe it's Miller Coors has an investment, has some capital in there. Mm-hmm. Is TRU Colors, do you consider yourself a craft brewery or just a brewery? We're a brewery. Because I know that beer likes to put labels on these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. I've always been a craft brewer my entire life. And I've brewed for over a decade in various places. But for me, I think the question is really, does it matter? Because the point is of this place is that it's a social mission. The beer is just to finance that, to finance the social mission of it. It provides opportunity, economic opportunity for these guys. So I'm here just as a support role.
Okay, gotcha.
That makes sense.
And see, it ties back in. He was saying he's got the monk do up top, and the monks brew beer just to support the monastery.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is all coming together.
You're a monk.
This is all coming together.
Should file to be a Trappist brewery. You'd be the second in the United States, right?
And my grandma's from Belgium, and we drank Belgian beer growing up all the time.
Perfect. Right. It's all coming together.
Maybe they could be a trap music brewery.
A trap
right?
music. There you go.
Like, did you say Trappist? You're like, not exactly.
Not quite.
Close,
Nearly.
Close. Good stuff. Yeah. Is there any intentions for the brewery to brew other beers? Do you want to expand the portfolio, or is it, again, you said it's not so much about that, it's just brewed to finance the brewery?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got some exciting things coming down the pipeline, which I'm not quite sure I can talk about yet. But
okay, Spree's excited about it. So all right, cool stuff coming. Gotcha.
It's pretty exciting. I'm pretty
well, if you can
give us a little hint there, give us a little breaking news here on Beer Guys Radio.
Yeah, just a
little bit.
Oh, maybe it's just some sort of a collaboration.
Yeah. Okay. All right, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, that was one of the questions we were going to ask about collaborations. But not divulging what you are brewing. What kind of beers would you like to see you brew eventually? Like down the road. What do you think? What do you think would be a good TRU Colors beer style?
I think to reach out beyond the light lager crowd, I think we should probably end up. And this is just me talking. Get something with a little bit of hops in it, a little bit of flavor in it, either a session IPA or a lower ABV sort of IPA, maybe in the 5.5 range, something like that. So it's more approachable, just to branch out from the light lager crowd and get into the hands of people who are just a little bit skeptic about light lagers in general.
Okay,
there's been a lot of discussion around that now because of the style cold IPA that's come out. Have you seen these? See, that's it, man. That's it. So, and I don't recall who it was, but I reached out to one of the brewers on, I think Twitter, and there is the people that brew the cold IPAs. There is a defensive-ness that this is not a hoppy lager. This is not an IPL. It's
I don't think there's anything wrong with a hoppy lager or an IPL,
but people don't
respect
after those, right?
Yeah,
it's, they don't come into it. But we talked to Fossil Cove Brewing on our show last week out of Arkansas, and their session IPA was one of my favorites. It was light, bright, had some hoppy character to it, a good citrus note, and a little resinous pine, but still a very crushable, drinkable beer.
Yeah, it was very much so.
It's something that you could kind of step it up to the next level and probably still not offend a lot of people with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you come up with the recipe for the current light lager, or was that already in the works?
No, there's a team of brewers here. I'm just one of them.
Okay.
We've done so much work on this recipe. You would have never thought that such a simple beer would be the hardest thing in the world to make. And I've been making craft beer for a very long time. I've never done as much research and development on a beer than we have on this. It's crazy.
When you're brewing a beer that's that transparent, and I think transparency is a big thing for you, you can't hide flaws anywhere. It's got to be right. Yeah. So that's actually a good metaphor for the brewery. Probably.
And you guys dumped some batches when you first scaled up, correct? That it's like, nope, this isn't where we want it to be. It hurts to do. You shed a tear, right?
Right away. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Spree, have you had a chance to get up on the brew deck? Have you done any brewing?
Yeah, I learned about it. I'm all about learning the process of how it's made. So since I've been here, I've been always curious about science. So yeah, I've been up on a couple brew decks.
Okay.
Have you tried? Are you interested, or have you tried any home brewing at all?
I never tried it, but I've been around, like Cab said, Press. I've been around when Press was developing his skill set, and I know he's a level 3 Cicerone right now. So I kind of been around watching him and learning as he learned from a distance. So I definitely interested in progressing and learning more.
As I was thinking,
That's
that'd be an interesting activity for folks to take home to, their organizations, so to speak, their gang, whatever is the appropriate term here. Homebrewing. I mean, it's something that's fun, and at the end of it, you have a product that you can be proud of, even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you want to. And I think that's I mean, it's a thought I had while we were talking here. So, yeah. Anyway,
that's with the beers there. You're talking kind of hinted at your collaboration that. Spree, is there anything like for your palate, or is anything that you think your community would enjoy in a beer that maybe isn't available right now?
Honestly, if anything, it would be a lager. Like I know at one point we said it was America's favorite beer. Honestly, it's not too hoppy. It's crushable. The community drinks a lot of lagers. If any beer comes to my mind, so I think it's the most approachable beer for the community.
Sure, yeah, one that everybody can get behind.
Right.
So I assume that you've done some test batches of other styles too. Like you do a little bit of that. Do you have like a test brew
pilot system?
Pilot system? Yeah.
Not currently. They did when they were developing, I believe, before my time here.
A lot of focus labs.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We have a 50-barrel brewery with 200 and 300 barrel tanks.
Yep.
Okay. Focus labs, that's just an excuse to sit around and drink beer, right?
Yeah.
I think that's it. It's like, oh, we got to work. We got to do some QC today. It's like, why are you bringing bags of Doritos into the QC?
I need to focus, Tim. I need these Doritos for focusing. It's a focus lab.
It's a focus. Yeah. But that, seriously on that note, though, we do talk about, like we were talking about, getting the beer just right and not being able to hide anything. These little focus labs, I remember talking to one brewer about a beer, and there was quite a bit of training that went into tasting this one single beer to make sure it was where it needed to be. And they knew how it tasted after 3 days at room temperature, 3 days in refrigeration, all this. And they knew that if they pulled a random sample off of a shelf and the date was a month old, they knew what that beer should taste like to make sure, to keep the quality in there.
Absolutely.
Beer is serious business, man.
It requires dedication.
It does. Yes. Absolutely. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take another break, but we'll be back soon with more from TRU Colors Brewing.
Balancing.
All right. Are we
Seg 4?
We're on 4 already. Okay. Have you caught up? Have you finished Seg 1 beer?
I'm still on Seg 1 beer. I've been too busy running my mouth.
Well, don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and drink all this
You got
equilibrium.
that taken care
That's
of?
quite nice.
All right.
So
how nice of you.
hazy beers, very nice.
How nice of you. How far are you guys from Asheville?
It's about 5.5 hours.
Okay.
Kind of far.
I think probably about the same distance we are, right?
Yeah, we might even be closer.
We might be a little closer here in Atlanta. Yeah.
Have you guys done a trip down, like just get a bunch of guys together and go do a little bit of a beer field trip, so to speak? Because that seemed like that would be a lot of fun.
That's another focus group.
Yeah, another focus group.
Yeah.
The guys went to as a group to a couple of breweries and learned more and got some tours and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
The fun part of because we have to do so much field research in 2018, Brian and I actually visited every brewery and brew pub in the state of Georgia. So we went out, and I think it was 85 at the time.
Yeah.
We're nearly double that now.
Was 85,
it's like 155, 160 in the state now. But when we did, it was around 85.
Yeah, seriously. It's Atlanta, it wasn't that long ago that Atlanta has had about the same number of breweries that Wilmington did.
I'm going to do Nate's job here since he's slacking.
Oh,
he's slacking. I want to say Lucas drops in, I think.
Is this
daily? And Lucas, we never know what you're talking about, but we appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
We do.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I think. I don't know what it is. I guess there's some sort of a spam bot that really loves our show,
or it's
and it only visits once per episode. So yeah.
There you go. To either one of you, did either one of you understand what was going on there?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Just making sure it wasn't intended for
We're
the
not
guests.
alone.
Maybe one day we'll have the right guests and be like, oh, Foo Rent. Yes. I
Yeah.
know exactly what he means.
We're
Yeah.
broadcasting secret codes and don't even know it.
We could
somehow.
be. We're what is it? Number stations or something like that that just
the weird
broadcast the
stuff.
random codes. We're accidentally a number station.
Exactly. Man, I can't believe how fast this show's went by.
Seriously?
It's just blazing by this week. So we got one more segment to go, guys. Spree, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit when we get in this next segment about kind of the structure of gangs and why that's appealing for people to get involved and such, and let folks know that, because we've got our media perception of what we're told about them. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit more there. Is there anything else that you guys want us to make sure we mention that we have not covered yet?
No, it was pretty much.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. All right. One more beer.
So we're getting in. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've kind of bounced around, Brian, but
we really have. Yeah,
I think we've hit the high points here. We didn't talk about Disrupt You, did we?
No, and I think they've made references to it kind of in the process, but not specifically.
We'll come in with that then.
I think.
And then was that what the Disrupt You, was that what you were talking about with like the
onboarding program,
the events and such? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right, cool. All right, Nate, bring us in, sir.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to TRU Colors.
Spree, when we were setting up this show, I was speaking with Megan there at the brewery, and she was sharing some information with me about gangs, and mentioned that the term organization is used kind of internally there rather than gangs. We know what the media tells us about gangs, violence, drug activity, and that. But with so many people involved, there has to be an appeal to that. So what is the appeal that someone would join, one of these organizations?
Well, when you're young, when you're adolescent, coming up, a lot of times guys have broken homes. So I guess coming up in these communities, you're looking for a brotherhood. You're looking for something to belong to. And you kind of get pushed into that coming up in these communities, looking for, a father figure or a brother, or just a place to belong and be accepted. So it's always a group of guys that came together in the communities, whether it was Bloods or Crips or GDs. And, you kind of as a kid start to hang out with them, and you get older, and, things get a little bit more serious, but it's really a sense of belonging and just a sense of brotherhood.
Okay. Are there, within the organization, is there a structure, a function of the groups there?
Yeah, it definitely is. From what I know, all organizations, gangs have structure from the top down.
Okay.
So I'd read, or I saw somewhere, it was mentioned somewhere, that some of these gangs have, or organizations have, a kind of a written down, like, I don't know if it's a manifesto or a system of beliefs or a philosophy. Is that true? Like an actual, like a 60, 80 page book basically on their philosophy. Is it that structured?
Yeah, it's pretty extensive. You just got to, once you come into it, it's a lot of things you have to learn. That is a lot of good things about self-realization and community building and belief in self and love for your community. So it's definitely pretty long. You as you go up in rank, you have to learn more.
Okay. Is violence part of it, or is it what's the word I'm looking for? Does it just happen? I don't know the right word I'm looking for. Is that,
a coincidence part of it, is what you're looking for, or just coincidental violence?
I don't think coincidence is the right word. Just or what have you.
Excuse me, you kind of went out a little bit on the line.
Yeah, so I'm not sure the way to word it. That so we see what we see about gangs is the violence. We see when someone's shot. We see when there's a drug bust in there. Is violence a part of it, or is it just a result of other things happening? I mean, with TRU Colors, the mission is to come together and end the gang violence. What is the root cause of that violence between the gangs?
Well, I think we got to take into account that this is a generational issue we're dealing with. In all organizations, you have good and bad. So, of course, there is violence that exists, but there's another side that's doing a lot of positive too. I know a lot of homies that's in college, went to college, working jobs, played football, that's working in banks. You're just never going to be exposed to that side of gangs because, of course, it doesn't drive the narrative. But it's, yes, violence is a side of it, and we're fighting to change a lot of the misconceptions about gangs. And it's really, I can't hit enough at this, that we're planting a seed. It's something that's been a generational issue in a lot of communities all over the U.S. for a long time. And we just want to change the narrative and change people's perspective on what's the root cause. And I think we all agree here at, I know we all agree here at TRU Colors that it is an economic issue in societal exclusion because we just don't have the resources and the know-how to get out of these economic situations. And partnering up like we are doing here at TRU Colors gives us the opportunity to use this platform to speak more about the root issues that's really causing this violence.
So I know that a lot of the people that work there are still involved actively in these organizations, these gangs. What impact has their involvement in their membership in TRU Colors had on those gangs? Has there been a noticeable positive impact on those organizations out there in the street?
Yeah, just honestly, just TRU Colors existing changed the whole consciousness of the city. Just realizing that we got up here and we still who we are, but we speaking in the way we are as far as using our influence to change things. It changed the perspective of city officials. It changed the perspective of gangs, families, and really look at a new way of approaching an old problem. So it's affected my hood as far as my homies tremendously, because seeing me come out of federal prison and now I'm an assistant director of marketing and I got a car, I got a house, I got money. I always take this stuff back to them since I've been here. Yo, you guys get you a bank account. You guys ever heard of credit? If they don't know, I teach them what I did to fix my credit. So a lot of that knowledge and understanding I gave to my hood, and all the other leaders in here did the same. And I saw subtle changes to a lot of my homies. And I saw changes to a lot of people in the city just from us existing. So without a doubt, we've made a huge positive impact on what guys believe in themselves, like what they can accomplish, and just changing their mentality when it comes to their own success and self-limiting beliefs.
Just knowing something is possible is a huge impact on what people are capable of doing. I have noticed time and time again. It's something that's come up. So that's a very intriguing thing.
I mean, there's something. I've had family members who have had financial difficulties, and if you can't put a roof over your head, if you can't feed your kids, your thought process doesn't go much beyond what do I need to do these things?
Survival, survival mode.
Yeah, survival. You can't think about saving for retirement. You can't think about, long-term savings and planning for that, because you got to think of the here and now. Where's that next meal coming from?
There's no saving when you're starving. I mean,
right.
Really. Yeah.
You're just not. Absolutely.
Right.
Now, Spree, you mentioned that you've seen the positive impacts on individuals and how they feel about themselves, how they carry themselves. How has it translated to the dealings between the gangs out there? Are you seeing these individuals improved in several of the different gangs, and how's that impacting gang relationships?
Well, I think people have to realize that the structure of gangs definitely has changed throughout the years. So it's compartmentalized now. So we got way more opportunity to work with each other because of that, because it's cliques within cliques. But the leaderships here, once they see us come in this building and they see the content on social media and they see how we moving and how we're personally getting better, it allows us to leave this building and still keep that connection with rival gangs. And we've had a good relationship for the most part with the sets in Wilmington. So, you know, it just, I honestly, man, it's been surreal because I never would expected guys to be open to change. And after all these years of us going back and forth and just seeing that they're tired of it, like, bro, we don't, you know, it's been a lot of sacrifices out here, and to sit at the table with these guys and hear them say, bro, we tired too. If there was a way,
right,
we would take it. But this is rare what we're getting offered. And you know, people just looking for a way out. That's all.
Absolutely. What's next for TRU Colors? What's the next step or of the mission?
Well, right now we're focused on the beer. We're trying to get the beer out because that's what pays the bills and allows us to do what we're doing. But we're looking to expand in several other states, and we're just excited about partnering up with like-minded organizations that want to change the perspective on what we're dealing with. And a lot of organizations are coming to us and, you know, just offering to partner up and do something about it, because this is a platform to speak on it and unify and, you know, let people know it ain't about racism and all these many facets of things that's causing divisiveness with us. It's about coming together and really hitting this thing full on. And we're looking at a lot of partnerships and a lot of celebrity partnerships, and it's just awesome, man. We it's a bright future ahead of us.
That's awesome.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised you don't already have some celebrity partnerships. This is a great sounding mission.
They already said they're not telling us everything.
Oh, that's true.
You don't know what they're working on back there.
I mean, beyond Miller Coors, you weren't counting them as a celebrity partnership.
I was not counting them. No,
yeah, but,
not at all.
Yeah. I was curious because the idea occurred to me. Is there? I guess it's probably not the case, but do you have situations where you're friends in the brewery and then enemies in the street, or is it not like that at all anymore?
At one point it was, but you got way more friends than enemies these times around.
That's awesome.
Okay.
We've been kind of, you know, we've been making it, you know, real transparent with the community. We all about transparency and authenticity. We want them to know that we're genuine and we're on the front lines really trying to figure out how to do this thing. And it's time really for us to kind of step up as community leaders and use this platform to let people know we're not who you think we are. And we just want an opportunity to, you know, educate and enlighten people on what's really going on.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Spree, Kevin, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, sharing the story. Spree, if people want to find out more about TRU Colors Brewing, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can go on trucolors.co or TRU Colors Brew on all our social media platforms, and everybody can follow us and subscribe to our newsletter, and you know you can be in tune with us.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Join us next week, Brian. We're going to be talking Michigan beer history.
Yes.
We thank you for tuning in. For more craft beer news, follow us on the socials. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.